Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Convocation Center for today's PSAC-WEST matchup between the Seton Hill Griffins and your California Vulcans. My name is Jonathan Sable. Alongside me here today is my very talented buddy, Mr. Nate Kurtz. Nate, how are you doing today?
Very talented. That's a new one. Thank you for that. You know what? You're very talented yourself, Mr. Jonathan. Say thank you for that. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
We never ask you how you're doing. You always ask us.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. I just watched the ladies get a big win over the Griffins in a close one. And I'm ready for a similar game here today. As you can look at your screen and take a look at the last game that either of these two teams played. Seton Hill losing a close one to UPJ 78-75, and then California getting a humongous win over the weekend against Mercier 76-71.
Yeah, I mean, University of Pitt's Johnstown this year and Mercier have been at the top of the conference, have definitely asserted themselves as two of the top teams are. And, going into that game, I wouldn't have expected Seton Hill to pull it as close as they did, and especially in such a, tight conference. And then going on to that Cal game, watching that from home for that first half, I thought there was no way the Vulcans would pull away with that win. And beating the number 2 seeded Lakers, I mean, that's huge for your playoff hopes.
Yeah, it's huge. The last time these two teams played was a little less than a month ago, January 23rd. California able to get the win in that one, 66-56, and kind of a sloppy back and forth game where California was able to edge it out. While we have a second, we can take a look at the starters from either team, starting with the visiting Griffins.
Yeah, for your Seton Hill Griffins, you're going to have their normal crew. That's going to be number 2, Drew Green, and number 3, Samuel Tabe, number 4, Sean Dillon, number 5, Jimmy Moon, and number 24, Ryan Mays.
And for your California Vulcans, the usual suspects, as we like to say, number 0, Jermaine Hall Jr., number 1, Cam Polak, number 5, KJ McClurg, number 11, Keith Powell III, and number 15, DJ Slaughter will round out the starting 5 here for California. We've seen Jermaine Hall down there as he's getting ready to be introduced with the new haircut as well. We saw a couple Vulcans with the fresh cut. Look good, feel good, play good, and hopefully the Vulcans can continue this winning streak here today in the combo.
Yeah, and if you watch the coaches, you definitely heard Coach Sankum talk about that, where this team is feeling good. They had one of the best practices they had this season a few days ago. And this team is just so close together. They're a talented young core that can score the ball, and they have so much fun when they're on that court. And you can see this just from the warm-ups, that these guys love each other. They have so much camaraderie, and they're on a 4-game winning streak, one against a big opponent in the Lakers. This is a big matchup for them, and with everything going their way, you got to hope they can pull away with the win.
Yeah, that 4-game winning streak is the longest in the PSAC West, regardless of team. Typically a place where any team has had success. I mean, we already, like I said, IUP didn't have success there, and it was usually you're like, all right, California, they're going to come in. They're not as strong of a team as IUP. There's no way they can get a win, and they snatched one away as well in that game, which was huge for their seeding chances going down the stretch here.
Yeah, and if we put on the tinfoil hats here and you really look at it, if IUP, the number 4 ranked team in the country, loses to Mercyhurst and California beats Mercyhurst, I mean, using some mathematics there to me, I think California would be ranked higher, you think?
We go underway. They're going to call it double dribble immediately as the game started. 5 seconds in. First turnover of the game go to the Griffins. They're going to be wearing all red going from right to left. The Vulcans in their home white going from left to right here in this first half. Seton Hill wins the tip, but California going to get the first possession here after the turnover by Dillon.
And, that's such a small thing, is getting that first offensive possession. And this team is such a great offensive maestro machine, and they're able to score the ball at will almost, and getting them the first opportunity to score can easily grant you bad chances later in the game.
Seton Hill playing this 2-3 zone, and they're able to get a steal straight away as that pass from Hall ends up into the arms of Dillon. Dillon on the drive towards the basket and gets the first shot to go of the game. Sean Dillon with the first basket, whistle blown. I think the basketball just went away from the inbounder.
That's what you're going to see with that zone. I mean, they're really the only team in the PSAC West that even run it. But it has its advantages. It'll completely stop you in your tracks. And for the Vulcans, you've been game planning around it, especially since you did play them away at Seton just a few weeks ago.
Slaughter on the ball, looking for some help, able to find Polak. McClurg now gets it to Polak. Polak pump faking, fakes the handoff, keeps it. Able to find McClurg in the corner for 3. That one off the mark, no good. Pulled in by Moon. Tabe, quick pass on the court to Green. Now Moon up top, pull up three for him, and Moon off the front of the rim, no good. Pulled in by Polak.
Yeah, and that perimeter shooting is going to be a big part of the Vulcans offense tonight. It's been on fire over these past few games on this win streak, and especially when playing against the zone, they're going to need to be able to lock it down.
Slaughter able to find Polak. Now Hall in the corner, pull up three for him, and Hall, nothing but net for Jermaine. 1 point lead for Cal, 3-2.
Yeah, Jermaine Hall Jr., we all know him, we all love him. He's just an offensive man himself. He can score at any point. He can go from the long range, he can go from the mid range, he can go in that paint. He's a menace anywhere on that offensive end.
Dylan telling everyone to clear out as he's just driving straight towards the basket. Can't get that shot to go, and there's maybe some contact on the way back, but California have numbers the other way. Palak in transition for three. Off the front of the rim, no good. Pulled in by Moon.
Yeah, but that's what they need. You need to get those fast break points, and it's something that this team has been very good with, and it's half the reason why they've won so many games in the PSAC-WEST and have clinched a spot in the PSAC tournament.
Mice pulls up deep from three. Can't get that one to go. And the Vulcans looking to go quickly the other way. Polak thought about the shot, didn't take it. Now it's McClurg on the other side. Cross-court pass to Polak once more. Slaughter. California is moving the things around on the perimeter. Slaughter on the drive. Gets a little bit of separation, passes it out to Palak. Palak working inside, has a lane. Tough shot, can't get it to go even with the contact.
That's a lot of contact there you think that's normally drawn as a foul, but you know, Keith Palak still just throwing himself around trying to draw that foul. Intelligent play by Keith Stroh.
Dylan now on this near side. He's been on a good stretch of games of his own over the last few months. Running out of room on that baseline, gets the ball poked out of play. It's going to be Griffin ball, 17:25 left to go here in the first half.
Yeah, for a second, my eyes deceived me there. I thought he just threw the ball out of bounds, but no, that's just good defensive play. And it's something we talked about early on in the season during these games where the defense was just lacking. But further and further we go on and this young team grows, this defense has grown together and they've improved heavily.
Dylan, deep three over McClurg, can't get that one to go. Hall pulls in the board, 17:15 left to go here in the first half. Slaughter and Polak play give and go. Now Polak pulls up for three, and another three-point shot from Cam Polak, 6-2 with 17 to go here in the first.
Yeah, if you let this team get hot from the perimeter, they're going to get hot. Everybody on this offensive side of the Vulcan ball can score from the three-point line. You can't let them get that opportunity.
Nice jump step from Dylan to get himself into the paint and able to get that shot to go. Like I said, he's been on a good stretch of his own over his last 4 games. 21.5 points, shooting 56% from the field and 44% for three. So that's going to be a player that California needs to key in on the defensive side. Hall decides to pull up for three in the face of Mice. Can't get that shot to go. Moon pulls in the board. And Dylan and Tabe go quickly. Tabe, nice crossover, gets himself into the paint. They're going to call a blocking foul in the paint. This one will go against KJ McClurg. And like you always mention, those fouls are so close. You can go one way or the other, and that time it's going to go against the Vulcans.
Yeah, I'll completely stand with the refs on that call. Normally, I would like to try and stay near in the middle. I mean, I didn't think KJ had his feet entirely set. That's a good call on the refs, and it's something that we always talk about is that you got to keep an eye on these fouls, especially in such an important matchup like this for seeding in the tournament.
Gillespie and Rice check into the game here for the Griffins. So there's a fight for the ball on the floor, and 2 players go down, but the Griffins come out with it. Now it's going to be Whitaker, who also checked into the game for the Griffins a moment ago. Dylan driving towards his right, getting double teamed now. Nice pass to find Whitaker inside, and Whitaker gets that shot to go over Palak and cuts the lead entirely to even 6-6.
Yeah, you're gonna have to be careful and just not let that this Griffins team beat you down in the paint, because it's something that they definitely have a weakness in, that being the Vulcans.
Hall getting trapped, but able to get the ball out to the perimeter. Nice find from Palak, and Slaughter with the spin move, and the ball lands straight into the arms of Hall, who's able to get it to go. 8-6 your score, 15:35 to go in the first half. Now the Griffins trying to answer back. Green on the far side, a little bit of contact, pushes it out. Whitaker now spinning, twisting, turning, able to find Green, who pulls up for three. That one just a little bit too short, and it's going to end up going out of play off of Gillespie, and that'll take us to our first media timeout.
Yeah, and that bucket definitely wasn't in the offensive playbook there for Coach Sankum, but that's the bounces you're going to want, especially in a close game like this, as we mentioned. You want those lucky little bounces that can get you an opportunity for a rebound.
And while we have a second, we're going to take a look at the tail of the tape from both teams coming into today's game.
can see there. Points for the Vulcans, 80.8. That's something that's always been the benchmark for this team, is their offensive ability. And Seton not far behind, standing at a steady 78% with field goal. Very close again, 45 for your Vulcans, 47 for the Griffins. 3-point percentage edging in the favor of the Vulcans with 35 to Seton's 33. Free throw percentage, Vulcans heavily improving over the course of the season for 77%. The Seton held Griffins 67, and for rebounds, Cal just nearly edged out, 35.4 for the Vulcans, 36.2 for the Griffins.
And I was taking a look at some stats last night. That free throw percentage is huge for both teams, as we can look at some replays. California, like you said, 77% from the line, which is one of the top 3 in the entire conference in the PSAC, while Seton Hill's free throw percentage is dead last at 67%. So that's where they've been losing a lot of their games, especially the close ones in a game against like UPJ, where if you're able to knock down a few more free throws, that game is easily swung into your favor.
Oh yeah, and it's the same thing about that IUP game and that Mercyhurst game the first time around. And it's funny because I remember we brought this up during the West Virginia Wesleyan game, which was my first basketball broadcast. I remember we talked about KJ McClurg and how at the beginning of the year he was shooting like 60-something%, and well, that number has bumped up a little bit. The whole team itself has definitely improved in the free throw line, and shout out to Coach Sankum. He's definitely edged it into these guys, and this team has definitely grown together, and you've seen the improvement. And you know one of the reasons for that? That being number 13, Donald Whitehead Jr., who just checked into the game.
Yeah, the Don makes his first appearance. I also want to give a quick shout out to head coach of your Griffins, Ben Wilkins. In his first season, the last 2 seasons, this team combined won 7 games, and they're already at 15 this season. So he's done a fantastic job at turning this program around. And now the Vulcans playing just pitch and catch all across the perimeter, trying to find some space, and McClurg's pass gets tipped away, but Polak able to recover 8 on the shot clock here for Cal. Now we're down to 5-4. 3 deep 3 from Whitehead, going to get fouled on the 3-point shot, so it's going to be Donald Whitehead Jr. at the line to shoot 3.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't want to say it's a luck play, but that was a luck play. I mean, your shot clock was running out, and you just had to throw the ball out there, and he just edges that contact in, and he's going to get those 3 shots up, and it's just something that you just noticed there at that play. You can't let the this zone defense just trap you on the perimeter. You can't let it. You need to be able to break that, and if you play to their pace and you play to their tempo, it's not going to end well for you.
That foul went against Rice. It was his first. Whitehead at the line, an 83.8% free throw shooter on the season. So he knocks down the first 2. He extends the Vulcan lead to 4. Substitution made here from the Griffins. Out of the game will be Green. Into the game will be Tabe once again after a little bit of a rest.
Man, we all need a bit of rest sometimes.
Whitehead with the 3rd shot. Makes all 3. 11-6, 14:53 to go here in the first half. The Vulcans extending their lead to 5. Can the Griffins answer back, trying to cut into this deficit? It's going to be Meese on the far side. Pass it off to Tabe, who pulls up for 3, and Tabe gets that one to go.
Yeah, and I mean, you just can't let him have that room. I mean, he's been one of the best players for this team, coming in at a 56% on his field goal percentage, and can't let him open. He's just going to score on you.
Vulcans just looking for that angle, that little bit of space that they need. Palak gets the pass inside, takes the lane straight to the basket, and gets it to go.
Yeah, and you see there, if you dissect that play very quickly, you'll see that Keith was able to get that open lane, and he's also able to pass out to that perimeter. And that's something that you're going to need to take advantage of, having that 6'7" offensive lanky monster in Keith Palak.
Tabe going once again. Nice drive inside, looking for some help. Pass it off to Meese. Now Whitaker trying to post up, pass off to Tabe again. Thought about the 3-point shot. In fact, he's going to take it. And Tabe knocks that one down. You mentioned one of the best offensive players on this team, but on the season, only shooting 25% for 3. He's only made 11 so far on the season. Now he just adds 2 more back to back.
Yeah, and that gives me flashbacks to that Clarion game and Gerald Jarman, and something if you're the Vulcans, you want to break easily and quickly.
1-point game, 13-12. The Vulcans looking to fight back. Whitehead at the top of the key, pass it off to Polak. Deep 3 from Cam. That one way too strong. Pulled in on the back end by Gillespie. Now Whitaker gets it back up top to Meese. The Griffins looking to take the lead. Tabe working inside. Pass it off to Rice. Rice now to Meese. Meese driving towards his left. Spinning around in the post, trying to get away from Whitehead. Now looking for some help. Tough mid-range jumper for him, but an offensive board by Gillespie. Gillespie, second shot, no good. Pulled in by Whitehead. Now the Vulcans going quickly. Palick, pump fake, and going to get clobbered after that one. So foul called in the corner. This one going to go against the Griffins.
Yeah, and if you're the Vulcans, as we mentioned, you're going to have to, you can't play to the pace of this Griffins defense, because it's what happens is that you play to the pace of this Seton defense, and then it translates to the offensive end too. That Seton Hill's going to start to beat you up in your own defensive paint, and they're not going to let you get anything in. You need to start speeding up and moving the ball around, moving your guys around more, creating more offense and more motion for your players.
That foul going to go against Whitaker. His first, the team's second. A little bit of a delay as Hall had to get the tape around his right arm just fixed up a little bit. We're back underway. Palick able to get the inbound to Polak, who pulls up for three again, and Cam Polak knocks it down once more.
Yeah, and Cam Polak, we normally mention him as the tertiary shooter, but that doesn't mean he can take over an offensive part of the game.
Well, he's able to get a stop on the defensive end as he's the one going to get the steal. Polak working inside now, going baseline, finds McClurg in the corner, pump fake in the three-point for McClurg, and he gets it to go. 6-point swing for Cal, 7-point lead.
Yeah, and how quick the turntables. What an offensive turnaround for the Vulcans.
Like we mentioned, this defense from Seton Hill is what is going to cause the Vulcans problems. They need to be able to shoot well, and so far they have. Now Whitaker working inside. Foul called on the floor. You can see a fan was not happy about that call whatsoever.
I mean, hey, the Vulcan faithful.
This one will go against Polak. His first, the team's second. It's going to be Dylan to inbound here for the Griffins. 12-11 left to go here in the first half. The Vulcans jump up to a 7-point lead. Tabe dumps it down low into Gillespie, and Gillespie gets that one to go over Hall.
And one thing you want to look out now is for Cam Pollock shooting 2 for 3 from 3, and if he gets hot, he's going to score that ball.
Yeah, we know when Pollock's hot, he's hot, and so far the Vulcans have appreciated his shooting. And like we talked about, he was going back and forth at the perimeter. Pollock nearly loses control, but able to get it back. Pass it off to Pollock, who pulls up again for 3. Can't get that one to go, but maybe there was a little bit of contact, but nothing called. And now the Griffins going the other way with Dylan. Hesitation and a crossover move, trying to go baseline, but good defense from Whitehead keeps him contained. Spin move, pass it off to Whitaker. Whitaker working inside and gets that one to go.
Yeah, and that's another paint plug-in, as we mentioned, is that you have to stop them on the perimeter, but you always have to make sure you have that one guy staying home so you're not letting up that easy bucket and that easy layup, and that's easily what Gillespie's able to do.
3-point game, 19-16, 11-10 to go in the first half. Whitehead up top looking for help. Gets it up to Polak. And now Whitehead and Polak playing back and forth once again. Palick with the mid-range jumper. That shot no good, but Hall able to tip out the offensive board, and the Vulcans get another possession.
And they need to be careful. Again, you're seeing them play to Seton Hill's defense. You have to play to your offense. You can't let them control this game.
Polak able to get some space inside, looking for help as there's players everywhere. McClurg pulls up for 3. That one too short. Pulled in by Gillespie. And the Griffins now just slowing things down here on the offensive end. Tabe inside to Gillespie, and no one was there. No one was home, and now it's just a 1-point game.
It's just as I mentioned a play ago. You need to keep that guy at home, and one of the problems I have with this Vulcan team, and it's none of their fault, it's that the biggest man that you have on the court at all times is going to be Keith Palick at 6'7", 6'8".
6-point run here for the Griffins. Polak on the drive inside. Throws the shot up and gets it to go. I thought maybe there was going to be a whistle blown. 3-point game now. And now Whitaker and the Griffins trying to go quickly once more.
I mean, obviously, you'd love to see a call like that, but sometimes it's always fun to see just the ball play out.
Tabe 3-point shot. A little bit too short. And that one is going to go out of play. And with that, that'll take us to another immediate timeout. 9:52 to go here in the first half. 21-18 your score. And while we have a second, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back here on CUTV, CUTV Sports 1, and the PSAC Network.
Hi everybody, welcome into a brand new show here on CUTV. I'm your host Tom Caton, and you are all tuning into the very first official episode of Caton's Corner. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Convocation Center. While we have a second, we can take a look at the team leaders here for Cal.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm finally able to see this on a full screen so I can tell you what that bottom stat is now. So Keith Palak leading the team in points per game with 18.2. Excuse me. Jermaine Hall Jr. leading the team in rebounds per game, that's 7.2. And Keith Palak, that playmaking ability coming in hand at 70 assists on the season. KJ McClure leading the team in steals for this lackluster defense this year. He's been very great on that side of the ball. And then, of course, Keith Palak leading the team also in minutes as well. And Keith Palak, it's as we mentioned, if he goes down, this team goes down. He's such a leader on this team, and he's such a big factor in this California defense and offense.
Back underway. Whitehead. Whitehead takes it back out towards the center circle, looking for help. 10 on the shot clock here for Cal. This offense has nothing going so far. Whitehead decides to pull up for three. That one too strong. And Tabe able to pull on the board for the Griffins.
And again, same thing. You just need to be careful. You can't let them run that shot clock out and play to their defense.
The Griffins had the Vulcans exactly where they wanted them. And Whitehead able to jump the lane and force the steal. 2-on-1 the other way. Whitehead tries to keep himself, but can't get it to go. Good defense by Dillon to prevent the shot from Whitehead now. Green inside. That shot no good, as there's going to be a foul called underneath. Palak going to take the charge, and the Vulcans escape.
Yeah, I mean, that one's as clear as you can get. I mean, normally, as we mentioned, that it could be going either way, but that one's just clear textbook. He has his feet down. Offensive player runs into him, and he's able to draw that foul. As we always mention, the intelligence of Keith Palak. He'll throw his body out on the line. He'll do anything to get this team a victory, and you'll see that there in that physical play.
It's been a big season from him. The sophomore from Woodbine, New Jersey, has really stepped up here for Cal. And you can see Coach Sankum just praise him over and over again on the coaches show. Like you talked about, he's just been such a key figure for this Vulcan team this season. Polak on the drive, nearly gets that one stripped away, able to find Whitehead. Nice pass to Hall, who's wide open underneath. Good ball movement from Cal.
And this entire season, the ball movement's been on point. Even from the get-go, you would expect that newcomer and Donald Whitehead Jr. and newcomer Cam Polak, you wouldn't expect the ball movement to be so good, but they're able to find each other like it's nothing out there.
Shot no good. There's going to be a foul called on the floor as Green shot missed. And it looks like the Vulcans are able to strip the ball away from Moon. They're actually going to call a foul. Waiting to see who it's going to be on. It will be against Polak. It'll be his second. So 2 quick fouls here in the first half for Polak. So into the game for him will be DJ Slaughter.
Maybe that defense is something that you'll need a bit of for her. As good as he's been playing on the offensive end, having that defensive DJ Slaughter is great to have, as the Vulcan faithful are loud and proud tonight.
Back underway, Rice takes the screen. Rice on the drive, gets that one poked away, but able to get it back. Moon in the corner, looking for help, able to pass it out to Green. 4 on the shot clock as Green works his way inside, and Hall meets him at the rim, but and one as Green able to get the layup to go plus the foul.
Yeah, I always hate watching that one, because whenever Jermaine goes up for a block like that, I can always tell you it's just he always hits the glass, and it's no knock on him, but it's just it's disappointing to see. This Vulcan's defense has been severely lackluster in the blocks department, and as I mentioned, it comes to their size. I mean, Jermaine Hall being 6'4" and Keith Palak being 6'8", you don't have much length and much size there to be able to block shots.
Yeah, the Vulcans ranked dead last in the PSAC, both East and West in blocks, in total in blocks per game, and like you mentioned, the lack of height really does not help them. Green at the line on the season, a 47% free throw shooter, but able to knock that one down and cut the lead to, I believe, 1 or 2.
We'll figure the math out later.
It's a 2-point game. I just wasn't paying attention to the scoreboard. I didn't know if it was going to go up or not, if they already put it in. But we're back. Whitehead able to find Slaughter in the far corner. And just a miscommunication as he was trying to find McClurg. McClurg was trying to make a cut towards the basket, so a backcourt violation here for Cal, and that'll lead us to another immediate timeout.
Man, this is very good timing for the Vulcans. They definitely need to just sit down and regroup, talk to each other, make sure they have everything all together. As we take a look at the leaders for your Seton Hill Griffins, and Tabe leading the team in both rebounds and points at 16.6 points per game and 8.1 rebounds. And that's Dylan. They're coming in with leading in your assists, steals, and minutes. That's all impressive stat lines to hold. And I mean, you've definitely seen the impact of those two guys here on the court tonight, and you can't undervalue them at all.
Yeah, Tabe in his last 4 games, averaging 19.5 points and 10.6 rebounds and shooting 52% from the floor in those 4 games. So it's been a big stretch of games here for Tabe. And like I mentioned for Dylan earlier, 21.5 points on 56% field goal shooting. And while we're a second, we can take a look at the PSAC-WEST standings. All 6 teams have clinched the playoff spots. All of the playoff spots are set. These are going to be the 6 teams: IUP, Mercyhurst, UPJ, Seton Hill, California, and Slippery Rock. But where they stand, where the seeding goes, is entirely up to the last couple of games here. Seton Hill sitting in 4th place, tied with Cal, and Slippery Rock sitting just a game behind them. And then California and Seton Hill a ways off the front 3 in IUP, Mercyhurst, and UPJ.
I wish I could compare this to the women's standings in the fact that it could be anyone's game, but that's still a mess down in the women's side because
8 of the 9 teams can make the playoffs.
Yeah, so not many, the majority of them haven't even clinched yet. But, I mean, yeah, it's anyone's game still. I mean, every team that's clinched could easily beat out the other if they were in a tournament playoff, and it creates such a magic and such a festival occasion, if you ask me.
Yeah, and both teams don't necessarily have the easiest schedules down the stretch. The Vulcans play UPJ and IUP to round out their season, and the Griffins play against Gannon and Mercyhurst to round out the end of their season. So it's going to be a tough stretch of games for both teams. There's a pump fake for Rice and a pull-up 3, and that one did not meet its mark.
And the students that are here definitely like that play.
The Vulcans looking to get this offense going once again. 2-point lead, 23-21, 7:15 to go. Whitehead gets it off to Slaughter. Able to find Palak inside. Palak spinning around. Slaughter on the drive. Pass it down low to Hall, and Hall with a nice finish. 9 points in the game already for Jermaine.
And that's, again, somebody you don't want to get hot. And the ball movement of the Vulcans already showing to be fast and impressive.
Meese up top, pulls up for 3, and gets that one to go. And cuts the lead to 1.
A silky smooth jumper there from Ryan Mays. Got to watch out for him. He's doing great this season from the 3-point line. He's been shooting around 35%, which relatively high, all things considered.
No look pass from Slaughter, able to find McClurg. The Vulcans pass it out once again. Palak able to find McClurg underneath. McClurg got a player to jump. There's going to be a foul called underneath the basket. And I think the Vulcans and KJ McClurg get away with one because he might have been able to get called for that travel, but that one's going to go against the Griffins.
Yeah, and it's the luck of the ball and the luck of the bounce is what you're going to need tonight.
It's going to be Whitaker's second, the team's 4th. We're back underway as Whitehead fakes the pass to Slaughter, but eventually gets it over to him. Now Whitehead up top once again, contested mid-range jumper from the Don, and gets his shot to go. 5 points in the game for him.
Yeah, Donald Whitehead Jr., we all love him up here at CUTV. He's such a great mid-range shooter with that silky smooth shot. He's always able to find his own space and create his own shot, even at his size of 5'10".
Just the ball movement has been phenomenal there from Seton Hill, and it ends with a Gillespie slam.
I mean, Gabe Gillespie throwing it down to Slam City. I mean, absolutely electric. He's been having a great game for him so far. That's up to 6 points for him. He's definitely made his presence felt.
27-26 is your score. California with the lead with 5:40 to go. Palak trying to go to work in the post. Spin move, can't get the shot to go. And the Griffins now have some numbers going the other way. Green gets it back to Whitaker. Hand off to Meese. Pull up 3 from him. Out of the rim, no good. McClurg pulls in the board.
Yeah, and that shot from Palak, you could see there he definitely identified the situation. He knew he wasn't going to be able to find it out to the perimeter, so he's intelligently able to just know that he's going to manipulate himself through the paint, get to the basket, just not able to let it drop.
Whitehead for 3. Too strong. Palak pulls in the offensive board. Palak dumps it down low to Hall. Hall went up and hesitated a little bit and was able to draw that contact, so Jermaine will head to the line. There's going to be 4 substitutions for the Griffins.
I mean,
so a full slate just
I was going to say,
out.
if you're going to sub 4, and you might as well just take that 5th guy out too and just make it a full wipe, which is something I have only ever seen once before, which is absolutely crazy to me.
Hall at the line to shoot 2 on the season, 72.6% shooter at the line. Unable to knock down the first one.
Yeah, but just because he's not able to knock down the first one doesn't mean that he's bad in any sorts. I mean, you look at the season that Jermaine Hall has had. He's had such an amazing bounce back from that injury he had last year, that Achilles tear. Jermaine Hall Jr. has blossomed into such a great leader. He's taken up such an offensive and defensive role for this team, leading in a lot of categories, or second in most. And Jermaine Hall Jr. has definitely blossomed into what we can view as a great player.
Hall makes the second. And those substitutions, everyone off the court except for Green. So Dylan, Moon, and Tabe back in, and for the first time today will be number 11, Michael Joyner, making his first appearance. It's going to be Joyner on the ball now, driving, working against Slaughter, pass it out to Dylan. Dylan, nice crossover move, but loses control of it. But Joyner able to recover. 12 on the shot clock here for the Griffins. Joyner driving baseline, gets that shot to go after he's able to get past Slaughter.
Yeah, it's that speed there that's able to beat Slaughter. And for a guard, Slaughter does have some nice length to him, but just Michael Joyner just able to quickly beat him on the inside and get that basket.
Tied ball game, 28-all, 4:25 to go. Pump fake for Palak, able to get a little bit of separation, pass it off to Whitehead. Now Slaughter pulls up for 3. That one no good, pulled in by Tabe.
Yeah, and you see they've been relying on that catch and shoot type of strategy so far early on in this first half, and not really working for him.
Another pull up for 3 from Tabe. That one off the mark, no good. Going to go out of play, Vulcan basketball. And like we said, with this trap, it's going to be fully reliant on the Vulcans' ability to knock down these shots. And when the game started, they were knocking down every single shot, but as it's gone on, it's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah, and it's that fatigue, but if you're able to translate and bring that into that second half of the game, that can easily translate into a win.
Slaughter able to find Palak inside. Just like a 4-1 for the Vulcans as Hall in the corner pulls up for 3. That one no good. Dylan pulls in the board. And Whitehead tried to shield him towards the baseline. Nice follow-up to find Moon for 3, and Moon in transition knocks that one down.
You just can't let anyone open from that three-point line, even if it is somebody who isn't shooting too hot this season from the regular field with a 44% field goal in general. But Moon's not a guy you want to leave open.
Palak inside, brings it back out to the three-point line. McClurg pump fake, gets Dylan to jump and knocks down the 3. So KJ McClurg ties things up once again at 31.
Yeah, KJ McClurg, the Magic Man himself, doesn't want anything to go unnoticed. He doesn't want to leave any notes behind. He's making his mark.
Dylan's 3, no good. And Slaughter able to pull in the board. California have a chance to take the lead. Hall wanted that pass thrown to him early, but the Vulcans slow to bring the ball up the court. 2:45 to go here in the first half of play. 31 all. Fake pass from Whitehead. Decides to pull up for 3. That shot won't go. Tabe able to get the rebound. And the Griffins going quickly. But Green loses control of it. And the Vulcans going the other way. Whitehead inside. With the contact, can't get the shot to go. And Green pulls in the rebound. And now the Griffins are going quickly the other way. Tabe takes the screen from Moon. Gets cut off by Palak at the baseline. Moon hands it off to Green once again. Green and Moon play give and go. Pass off to Joyner in the corner. 12 on the shot clock. Joyner working inside. Left-handed shot from him, no good. And he's down on the floor, so the Vulcans have some chance with the man advantage. But Joyner able to get back quickly and nearly steals that ball away. McClurg in the near side corner 3 for him and gets that one to go. Timeout called from the Griffins, 1:49 to go. 3-point lead for Cal.
Yeah, and he's not able to get that ball that well. I mean, you see when he catches that ball, he doesn't get enough of a time to control it and put into the spin that he wants. So it's almost spinning sideways and getting a weird spin on it, but a nice 3 from McClurg.
And while we have a second, we can take a moment to honor former California Vulcan Damon Taylor, graduating in the class of 02 and former basketball player here over the past week. Won a Grammy Award for his production work in the movement and Alphabet Rockers. Fantastic achievement for him. A huge shout out to Damon Taylor once again, former Vulcan, for taking home a Grammy.
Yeah, you can never say that Cal U doesn't give you anything. I mean, Damon Taylor proving that Penn West pride still exists as we look at some replays going on here. DJ Slaughter having himself a bit of a quiet game with 0 points so far, but you definitely notice his defense and his playmaking. And, of course, the Donald Whitehead Jr., that silky mid-range shot. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it, Johnny?
Oh, I agree. That is a work of art, and we can see once again this drive by Joyner to get into the lane, past Slaughter, and able to finish. And then one more extra pass. Slaughter able to find McClurg, pulls up for 3. And like you said, he didn't even have time to try to set the ball in his hands. He just shot it, was able to get it to go, and you can see the cheerleaders having some fun down there on the court, and they're happy, they're excited, and we're excited too. Like we talked about, we saw a great game just before this where your Vulcans were able to get a 2-point win, 68-66 over the Seton Hill Griffins, which is huge for their playoff hopes and their playoff standings.
Yeah, and if you excuse me, sorry about that. Yeah, that's a win they definitely needed, and especially as we mentioned, this tight and packed Western Conference of the PSAC on the women's side. It's so tightly contested right now that you need any sort of scraps, any sort of win, any sort of standing you can get.
Caden Hanna checks into the game for Cal. 1:42 to go here in the first half of play. Tobby going to get ball down low in the post. Pump fake gets 3 people to jump by him. And able to knock down the layup shot. 1-point game. 34-33 your score. 1:30 and running here in the first half. Whitehead gets it over to Slaughter. Slaughter pull up 3. Nearly banked that one home, but couldn't get it to go. The Griffins pulling the rebound, and now they're going quickly. Dylan, nice behind the back, between the legs pass to Mice. Now Tabe going to work in the post against Palick once again, spinning inside. Can't get the shot to go. Whitehead pulls in the board. Now Whitehead able to find Slaughter. Now McClurg, pump fake, gets it back out to Slaughter, who's working his way inside, who finds Whitehead. Whitehead pull up mid-range jumper for him, and like you said, that silky smooth jumper shown off once again as he knocks down the mid-range jumper, 36-33.
Yeah, it's such a clean shot, and like if you ever look up a YouTube video, for example, or you ever have played basketball and you get coached about it, you're always told to get that smooth release where your body's moving with it. And Donald Whitehead Jr., the Don, has it.
3-point shot from Tabe, no good. And Coach Sankum and the Vulcans are going to take a timeout with 32.6 to play here in the first half. About a 4-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock here at the end of the half. So the Vulcans are going to try to get a nice play cooked up in that timeout talk. And while we have a second, we can take a look at today's schedule, today's slate of PSAC games. And I see one big one in the middle of your screen, UPJ versus Mercers for that fight for second place.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a huge game. Well, it is a huge game currently. We don't have the stats pulled up with us right now, but that Mercyhurst team wasn't able to pull off that win against the Vulcans on Saturday, and that was a win that you needed if you're Mercyhurst, because realistically, they're a much better team than California is, and especially coming into this later part of the season where seeding matters so much, you can't let that up. So this is such a huge game for the Lakers.
Out of that timeout, 25 seconds to go.
And Cam Pollock checked back in on the court for these final 30 seconds. Got to think maybe there's something cooking for him.
And Whitehead and the Vulcans just winding it down ever so slowly, waiting for 10 on the shot clock to make their move. McClurg gets it to Pollock, deep 3 from Cam. Can't get it to go. And it's going to end up going out of bounds off of Palick. You saw Palick a little bit frustrated because he thought it went off of a Griffins player, but that isn't going to be the case. It's going to be 2 substitutions as Hall and Pollock will head to the bench to preserve them from getting a foul in this last 4 seconds, and Slaughter and Hanna are going to come back in.
And just make sure you play that full court there, not giving them any chance to get a foul or shot off at the end.
Dylan just throws it up and nearly gets it to bank in, but his shot no good, and that'll be the end of your first half here in the Convocation Center. California with a 3-point lead, 36-33. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on CUTV, CUTV Sports 1, and the PSAC Network.
Are you looking for student housing that is convenient, fits your budget, and promotes independent living? Look no further than Penn West California's upper campus student community at Vulcan Village. At Vulcan Village, you have 3 spacious floor plans to choose from, all with guaranteed private bedrooms and many with private bathrooms. Our community provides you fantastic amenities such as a 24/7 fitness center, convenience store, sand volleyball, and saltwater swimming pool. All apartments are fully furnished and have full kitchens and laundry. Utilities, internet, parking, recreation, and events all included. We provide you an all-inclusive experience that can't be beat. Schedule a tour and learn more today at VULCANVillage.com. Live here. Live well.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You can ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's all good if you think you should check in. Yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Hi everybody, welcome into a brand new show here on CUTV. I'm your host Tom Caton, and you are all tuning into the very first official episode of Caton's Corner. Bye everybody. Bye everybody. Bye everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Convocation Center for the start of the second half between California and Seton Hill. The Vulcans with a 3-point lead over the Griffins, 36-33 at the end of that first half. We do have some score updates from some of the other games around the PSAC going on. And that big one, Mercers versus UPJ, it is currently halftime, and UPJ with an 8-point lead, 46-38.
Yeah, it's as we mentioned, that's such an important game for seeding in the conference here in the West. 46-28 there, or 38, excuse me, and important matchup if you're the Panthers, and you need to win that, especially if you want to advance yourself in the standings. And we're also looking here, we have Clarion 22, Gannon 36. These are two hungry teams, and two teams that I believe both could have had a berth in the playoffs if the standings weren't as top heavy.
Yeah, the standings are top heavy, and then one final score update at halftime. IUP up by 11 over the Fighting Scots of Edinburgh, 37 to 26 is the score in that game. As we can take a look at some highlights, and we can talk about a little bit that first half where California seemed dominant in stretches in that first half, but they kind of just let Seton Hill back into the game. Seton Hill actually scored more baskets in total, 14 compared to the 13 of Cal, but the Vulcans were able to get some more three-point shots as well. And the Vulcans doing a great job at protecting the ball. Only 2 turnovers in the game for them compared to the 5 of Seton Hill in that first half.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Sankham's got to love that. I mean, that's something we always hear about on the Sankham Show is the turnovers, and you know, it's been such a big problem with this team throughout the season, and you can just blame that on the fact that they're a young team. They're new to the collegiate scene for the most part, and they're not used to this style and level of play. But as the years gone on, you've noticed the turnover numbers start to slow down, the fouls start to go down, as teams start to play more calm and more comfortable with each other.
Absolutely, and it's something that is one of the strengths of this Griffins team as well, as forcing steals and forcing turnovers. They're third in the PSAC in steals per game with 9.4. And then the Vulcans only have 2 turnovers in the first half alone. So the Vulcans not allowing Seton Hill, or not playing into that style that Seton Hill likes to run. We're back underway here in the second half. The Vulcans going from right to left in this second half of play. Palak pulls up for 3, and the Vulcans strike first in the second half with a quick 3 from Palak.
Yeah, it's cold Keith. Can't let the Iceman get open. He's such a great three-point shooter, and he'll knock that down anytime.
The Iceman cometh. Extends the lead to 6 here for Cal. 5 points on the afternoon for Mr. Keith Palak the third. 19:25 to go as Green works his way inside, and his shot off the mark, no good. Palak pulls in the board, and he's taking it himself across the half court. Hands it off to Hall. Slaughter pump fake, gets it back to Hall. Hall, nice pass to McClurg underneath, and McClurg with the finish.
Yeah, that's beautiful vision by Jermaine Hall Jr. and just intelligent play there by KJ, able to find himself in the corner. Nice and hidden with a little Jose Alvarado invisibility cloak there.
And Palak able to get his arms out there and palm that one away from Tabe. Hall spinning, able to find Polak, who pulls up for 3, and Polak knocks it down. And you can see Coach Wilkins and the Griffins are going to take a timeout after a hot start. It was a 3-point game at half, and now it's an 11-point game.
Yeah, that's not 3 points.
That's not 3 points anymore. 8-0 run in the first minute and 12 seconds of this second half. 2 threes, 1 from Palak, 1 from Polak, and then that shot from KJ McClurg underneath. And
it's, as I mentioned earlier, you can't be surprised when we say that this offense can get as hot as they can be at any given moment. Anybody on this team could throw that ball up and knock it down like it's nothing. And so you take a look at the standings here. Again, this is such an important matchup that California will jump ahead of Seton Hill if they do win this game, or vice versa. Seton will take the top of them at number 4, and Cal will stay down at 5. It's such an important game, and that win that Cal had against Slippery Rock not only propelled them ahead of Slip, but now with that win against Merciers too, it's made things even better for them and put them in more of a comfortable standing, if you will.
They're definitely trying to take control of their own destiny down the stretch here, and they're doing exactly what they need to do. 4-game winning streak for the Vulcans coming into today's game, and like I mentioned, that's the largest out of any team in the Western Conference, and they've really needed it. I mean, 4 games, you're looking at a team that's 10-9 in the conference. They were sitting at 6-9 before, and it was looking like they may not even make the playoffs at stretches during that season. I knew Coach Sankham even talked about it. He said we weren't sure whether or not we were going to make the playoffs or not, but this team has definitely battled back and has shown just how good of a team that they could be and that they're supposed to be, but they haven't played at throughout the whole season.
I mean, we've watched them since the start of the season. We traveled out to West Lib and we watched their first game at West Lib against Wheeling. And we've seen this team from the get-go, and it's been the same story. It's just that defense is usually worrying with this offensive mastermind that can explode at any minute.
Jimmy Moon answers back with a 3 of his own. His second 3, 6 points for him. Cuts the lead down to 8, 44-36, 18:25 to go here in the second half of play. Polak in the corner, one move and another 3-point shot for him, no good. And Green able to get the rebound and go quickly. Nice, zeros up in the lane, and Hall tries to block it, but the shot just could not go into the net.
Yeah, it sounds goofy, but it might be some Looney Tunes wind motion there that was able to just give that a little more spin on it and let it rim out. Smart play there by Jermaine Hall Jr.
Polak inside, pull-up jumper for him. That one too strong. The ball is going to end up in the hands of Mice. And the Griffins going the other way, trying to dig themselves out of the hole the Vulcans have put them in. Green and Moon play handoff. Tabe pulls up for 3, and Tabe knocks down another one. That's his 3rd of the afternoon.
Yeah, and again, you can't let them have that space. They're going to take advantage, and especially when they're down now 5 points compared to what was just 11 just almost 30 seconds ago. They're going to take those open shots very openly.
Hall inside, pass off to McClurg. He's able to find Polak, who loses his dribble, needs some help. Gets it back up top. Slaughter, nice jump pass to find Polak once again. His shot a little bit too strong. Moon pulls in the board. It's going to be Dylan going quickly the other way, hop step into the lane, and is able to get Polak just spun around and able to finish.
Yeah, a rare moment when you see Keith Polak bite at a fake like that. Intelligent playmaking there, just easily able to create a shot for himself.
Cowan on the 8-0 run, and the Griffins respond with an 8-0 run of their own. Cut the lead back down to 3. Polak, step back, pass it off to McClurg. McClurg able to find Hall, who pulls up for 3. That one no good. Tabe pulls in the rebound, and the Griffins, with all the momentum after that timeout, Tabe into the lane, and Polak sends that one out of bounds as he's able to get up there and get the block.
Iceman stands still, stays cold, just keeps himself steady and composed, easily able to just take him down, not able to offer him any sort of offensive push there, and prevents what could have been an easy scoring opportunity for the Griffins.
Whitehead comes back into the game. Slaughter will head to the bench. 16:30 to go in the second half. Dylan on the drive. Tough shot at the lane. Gets that one to go over Whitehead. It's a 1-point game as the Griffins on a 10-0 run. Can the Vulcans stop it? Can they get a basket of their own? Polak inside, pass off to Polak. Whitehead. Now McClurg on the near side. It's going to be Polak now on the far side. 10 on the shot clock. Polak with the turnaround jump shot. Gets that one to go. 7 points now for Polak.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed now, as most of that starting 4 just looking at getting the double-digit figure points now, as that's Jermaine, Cam, and KJ all with 10, 11, and 11.
Rice, who checked into the game here for the Griffins, now on the ball. Gets it over to Dylan. 10 on the shot clock for the Griffins as Rice driving inside, looking for help. Able to find Moon across the court. Moon working his way inside and shot over McClurg, and McClurg going to take another charge.
Yeah, and again, it's something that we see with this team. They're willing to take that hit because this team just, they're confident in each other. They believe in each other. They'll take those hits, but because they know their teammates will always be there, right, to pick them back up.
And with that foul, that'll take us to another media timeout with 15:32 to go. And well, wait a second, we can mention something really quickly for your California students. 3rd Street will be closed this weekend as the Zorski will finally be taken down. And let's see our good cameraman Jonathan Sakaguchi here, voted on by you, the fans, will be riding on the wrecking ball like Miley Cyrus in the music video to go through the roof of a Zorski. And you can see Gooch. You can see us up there as well, and you can see the Don, of course.
Yeah, gotta love Donald Whitehead Jr. He's somebody that we've embraced heavily in CUTV down in our media, so we love him. Shout out Donald Whitehead Jr. and shout out to his mother. We talked to her at IUP. She was so great and nice to us. And as you see their graphic that just came up, you can follow us on social media, on Twitter at CalVulcans, and on Instagram at CalVulcans as well. So keep up with all your CUTV and Vulcan athletic news.
Make sure to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you're watching at CUTV Sports 1. Like you said, to keep up with all CUTV sports news and other shows and other things that we do here in the media suite. And that media timeout came with 15:32 to go here in this second half of play. And the California Vulcans with a 3-point lead. Like you said, they stretched out to 11, and now we're back to where we started this half with just a little bit further advance in points.
I mean, yeah, it's just been letting that three ball get open. It's something that Cal kind of struggled with later on in the first half, but it's something they kind of let translate coming to here now. They're letting that three ball open, and they're letting them have those opportunities. Bit of a score update again. Mercyhurst 55, UPJ 43 is they're also a little bit into their quarter. Such a big, important game for them.
The Lakers slowly pulling away from the Mountain Cats, who the Vulcans will see next time in their next conference game. We're back underway as Whitehead gets it inside to Hall. Hall looking for help, hands it off to Whitehead. Whitehead taking the screen, pass off to Polak, who pulls up for three, and Cam knocks it down again. 14 for him, and a 6-point lead restored here for Cal.
Yeah, last game at Mercyhurst, Cam only scored 4 points, which is pretty unusual for him as he's such a highly offensive motor player, and he's easily able to come back from that, now scoring 14 points, and again proving that he's such a great shooter on the outside arc.
Polak able to trying to find Whitehead, but that pass uncomfortable for Whitehead to pull in. Now Tabe going the other way, coast to coast, can't get the shot to go. And the second chance shot by Whitaker can't go either, and that one's going to go out of play. It's Gillespie tried to pull on the board. So the Vulcans count their lucky stars as the Griffins had 3 cracks, had a chance to score there at the rim, and none of them went in.
Yeah, and it's just that one was just completely unfortunate on the side of Seton Hill. I mean, you get those, I don't want to say 3 open opportunities, but 3 easy chances to score the ball there and just not able to find it. Unfortunate again, but this is only a 6-point game with 14 left in the game. And as we always say, the game's not over until the buzzer buzzes.
You know, the 3 shots that the Griffins were expected to make, and none of them went in. It's Polak under a bit of pressure and just has to try to throw it across court, and Mice able to intercept that one away as he was trying to find McClurg. Now Mice going coast to coast himself. His shot won't go, but there will be some contact on his way through. That foul will go against Jermaine Hall Jr. Or no, will go against KJ McClurg, excuse me. That'll be his second, the team's first of the half. And Mice will head to the line to shoot 2 here for the Griffins.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen with the zone defense. There's a reason why it can be used at certain times to be so effective, is that it'll force players into making that pass, And yeah, that's an easy turnover for you, and you're easily able to cross court that, go to the offensive end, and as you see in this case, Ryan Mice able to draw that foul.
Unable to knock down the first free throw on the season. Mice, 87.5% free throw shooter. So one of the better ones on this team, but couldn't get the first one to go. Able to knock down the second, and during that little break, Michael Joyner checked back into the game for the Griffins. And James Rice headed to the bench. So it's a 5-point game, 49-44 your score. The Vulcans with the lead with 14:05 to go in the second half of play. Hall pulls up for 3 in the corner. Left that one way too short. Gillespie able to pull on the board, and the Griffins going quickly. And Whitehead takes the charge again. He was way out ahead of that one, and that was a clear as day charge.
Yeah, and it's something that we've already mentioned that we talk about all the time on our broadcasts when we do them together. It's just that's always such a hard call. But again, when you have your feet clearly set like that, and the offensive player runs into you, it's going to get called a charge almost every single time, no matter what.
13:50 to go here in the second half. The Vulcans looking to extend their lead by 5 right now. Hall. Whitehead trying to pass it through, and Mice stuck a foot out there. Kick ball violation going to go against the Griffins.
He's playing the wrong type of ball game there. Soccer isn't for another semester, so he's just going to have to wait another few months if he wants to go out for them.
Yeah, I watched a heartbreaking game earlier. As
I remember in the media, but you were very vocal about that one, buddy.
As my Gunners fell 3-1 to Manchester City. It's going to be another kick ball, and like we talked about, Mice might have to start trying out for the Seton men's soccer team.
I mean, you could hear that all the way up here. I mean, yeah, if he can kick it that hard, I might have some competition.
Definitely got a leg behind that one as we're back underway. Polak inside, just spinning around. Polak looking for anything, and is able to get the shot to go as he pulls up for mid-range once again.
Yeah, beautiful shot. Keith Polak able to find that mid-range jumper, and he's been a bit quiet on the offensive end, only scoring 9 points in this almost midway through the second now.
Mice able to find Whitaker underneath. Great cut from Whitaker and a great pass from Mice. And the Griffins able to answer back.
Yeah, and that's beautiful play there, and it's just showing the grit of the Seton Hill team, as you mentioned. Coach able to take the program out from, what was it, 2 wins over the past 2 years to now 7 this year.
And KJ, the fan said it for me and won as McClurg able to finish with a ton of contact. But no call made, and now the Griffins trying to go the other way, answer back 13 points now in the game for the freshman KJ McClurg, who's really come into his own down the stretch of this season here for Cal. Meese pulls up for a 3. Off the front of the rim, no good, and the Don jumps up over everyone to get the board. Now he's going the other way. Nice hesitation move. The ball is going to be poked out of play by the Griffins. It'll be Vulcan balls. Moon and Dillon come back into the game. And Meese and Gillespie are going to check out.
Yeah, going back to KJ McClurg, the D1 transfer coming from the University of New Hampshire. Coming back near the area. He's originally from Morgantown University High, so he's coming back to the area. Donald Whitehead Jr. from 3. The Don absolutely takes charge there. 3-point for the Vulcans.
The Vulcans back to a 10-point lead. Slowly getting stops and scoring on the other end. 10 points on the afternoon for the Don. 12 to go here in the second half. 56-46 your score. Moon pump fake, looking for an option. Pass it off to Green. Green able to get it over to Dillon. Nice pump fake. Step back 3 for Dillon. And that one nowhere near. And Green tried to save it. Palick on the other end. Jams it home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jamaroni Jam City right there is our good friend. And that's a turnover by the Griffins. Wow, I mean, the momentum in this place has absolutely turned the other way.
Palick just doing it all. Slams it home on one end, gets the steal on the other, and the Vulcans with another offensive possession. And you can see Hall waiting for the pass. He wants that lob as McClurg pulls up with the mid-range jumper, can't get it to go.
Yeah, Jermaine's been doing that all night. He's been sitting there near the bottom of the paint, pointing up to the sky, asking for that lob. And he's somebody who we've seen do it before against Mercyhurst.
And one called as Joyner driving into the lane, able to finish with the contact from McClurg. He's going to pick up his 3rd. And that'll take us into another immediate timeout. 11:08 to go. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on CUTV, CUTV Sports 1, and the PSAC Network.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Convocation Center. 11:08 to go in the second half of play. The Vulcans with a 10-point lead, 58-48. And the tides have definitely shifted in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, Air Keith, or Ice Cold Keith, whatever nickname you want to choose for him, had an absolutely beautiful transition dunk and then immediately followed it up with a steal. As see Cam Polak in some of our replays here, impressive from the 3-point range so far this game. As you see, another Keith Palick highlight. He's, as I mentioned, as soon as that play happened, he was a little cold, but you know, he's gotten a bit hot, if you will.
Yeah, so far in this game, Cam Polak 4 for 9 from 3. He's definitely been the lifeline that the Vulcans have had. And one more replay as Whitehead able to knock down that 3 off the quick inbound from Palick. And one more is Polak able to get it ahead to Keith, and Keith just...
You know what, Johnny? I just finished a highlight reel, too, for the entire season for the men's team. And then Air Keith has to go and slam down another one. So making me work for it, Keith Palick III.
Hey, now you have some more highlights to add to the highlight reels. Joyner able to convert the 3-point play, 9-point game now. Whitehead working inside. Polak up top. Palick deep 3 from Keith. Off the mark. McClurg fighting for the offensive board and doesn't get it, but forces Seton Hill to poke it out of play.
Yeah, and this is something we haven't really mentioned, but Caden Hanna normally comes off the bench getting around 12 minutes a night.
And Hall finishes and one through it all. 2 people went up to just try to stop Jermaine Hall, and he could not be stopped. So Jermaine will head to the line to shoot 2. Or shoot 1, excuse me.
I mean, yeah, you can't even get a word in edgewise without a highlight play from Jermaine Hall Jr. I mean, he's an absolute highlight reel here. It's somebody we haven't seen since Phil from last year. I mean, you go back and you watch those highlights, and it's just every time he touches the ball, it's something he could put on a highlight reel. And it's the same thing with Jermaine. He makes those crazy flexible plays, drawing those fouls, and absolute menace in the offensive end.
I think the word for that is electric. He's electric when he's on the court. Tabe now inside. The basket be weighed off. Another charge as the Don took a forearm and an elbow, something from Tabe, and forced him to the ground. So another smart play from him and another foul to go against the Griffins.
Yeah, Donald Whitehead Jr., he'll take that any time of the day. He'll take that to the bank, cash that check out, go right home with it. Donald Whitehead Jr. is a tough guy for his size at 5'10", normally too short, as many would say, to play basketball. But, hey, we love our short kings here on CUTV, and we love Donald Whitehead Jr.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Short king myself. 10:20 to go. 12-point game now, 61-49 your score. Whistle blown on the court, foul called. This one going to go against the Griffins once again. This one will go against Dylan. So 2 quick fouls. It's going to be the 5th of the half here for the Griffins. So 2 away from heading into the bonus.
And especially in such a tight game like this, it's almost halfway through. You don't want to put them in any sort of position above you if you're Seton Hill. And things are looking bleak here in the midway point.
17 on the shot clock here for Cal. Whitehead up top, able to find Polak. Whitehead again working inside. Mid-range jumper for him, and he gets it to go again. 12 on the afternoon from the Don. 63 for Cal as we just passed the 10-minute mark to go in the second half. Tabe inside spinning. Nice double team from Cal. Forces the pass to Moon in the corner for 3. That one off the mark, but an offensive board by Whitaker, who was right there and able to finish.
I mean, I'd take 2 points over 3 points. I mean, obviously you don't want to let any baskets in, but Coach Sankum, you got to be happy that at least you were able to stop 1 more point from dropping in.
All 5 members of the Vulcans on the court in double digits in the scoring department. Whitehead able to find Hall. Nice no-look pass to Keith. Misread jumper from him, no good. But McClure with the offensive board, and McKJ going to get fouled on his way up again. So he'll go to the line to shoot 2. This one going to go against Whitaker. That's his 4th foul of the game.
Yeah, and if I had to guess, I haven't seen a stat for it on the PSAC, but I guarantee you KJ McClure has to be somewhere high up in the drawn fouls category, because every time this man is on the floor, he's going to be able to draw a foul for you in that offensive end. And something that I brought up earlier, non-KJ related, is the absence of Caden Hanna, who only played a few minutes early on in the game, who normally would be playing around 12, 13 minutes in a game. So you have to think that Coach Sangham's doing this tactically and playing his starters.
McClure makes the first one, misses the second. Lead to 13 as Tabe from 3. That one too short. And Hall with a quick outlet pass, and Keith able to track it down. Palick looking for help, gets it back up top to Polak. And the Vulcans slowing things down. Whitehead and Polak play give and go. Polak now. McClure, not Polak, thought about the shot. Palick, bounce pass to Whitehead in the corner for 3. Off the mark, no good. Dylan pulls in the board for the Griffins, and now they're going the other way. Pass off to Moon. Pump fake now. Moon working inside. Pass it off to Tabe. With a little bit of confusion, gets that shot to go.
Yeah, first I thought length of Keith Palick was going to be able to stop the ball and let it go out of bounds, but no, just able to quickly recover Tabe is. And another easy 2 points here as they got that lead back down.
Hall underneath, went for the no-look pass, and McClure able to pull it in, and Hall underneath. Nice reverse layup from Jermaine. 15 points for him, leading all scorers here in the game. The Vulcans answer back. Moon hands it off to Dylan. Dylan pulls up for 3. Left that one short, and Hall just going to let that one roll out of play. Substitution from Cal. Caden Hanna's going to come into the game, but that'll send us to another immediate timeout with 7:58 to go here in the regulation time. California up by 13, 66-53. And while we have a second, we can take a look once again at the PSAC-WEST schedule. I was waiting to see what, I was not sure what our director Tom Caden was going to do, but he puts up the PSAC-WEST schedule once again.
I mean, yeah, we mentioned that Mercyhurst UPJ game is going to be so important because if you look there, they're both at 2 and 3 tied there, so that seeding is going to be real important. Same with this one, Seton Hill, California, your current matchup you're watching right now, both 10 and 9 in conference, so it's an important matchup for seeding going in. And California later on will play UPJ, and then we'll eventually play IUP at home to close out the year. 2 very important games, and looking at it from my perspective, who has watched almost every game this season, 2 very winnable games for the Vulcans.
While we have a second, we can take one more moment to honor former California Vulcan Damon Taylor, the class of 02, the 2023 Grammy Award winner for his production work in the movement. Huge shout out to Vulcan alumni Damon Taylor once again. And like you said, there are definitely some good things. There are a lot of good things that come out of Cal. You never expect something as big as winning a Grammy, but huge shout out to Taylor. So we can take a look at the replays once again. And like you mentioned, the Vulcans ending their season with 2 tough games against UPJ and IUP. Seton Hill finish off with a game against Gannon where you expect them to win that game. And then they finish off the season with a game against Mercyhurst. They have not beaten, they're 0-18 in conference play against the Lakers.
I still think that's a very tough matchup if you ask me personally, because even though the record might not indicate they're that good, Edinburgh always puts up a nice fight, always makes a challenge for any team that comes to play again, or if they're travel.
Back underway is Whitehead bringing the ball back to the center circle. Kane Hanna into the game. And now has the ball underneath, pass it off to Polak. Polak able to find McClurg on the other side of the court, and KJ had the carpet to the basket. Couldn't get the shot to go, and like you said, KJ's on the floor. He's drawing fouls as he's going to go to the line once again.
Yeah, I saw KJ earlier in Gold Rush, and I asked him, can you drop 30? And, well, I didn't really hear what he said. He did mention three-pointers, and that's something the Vulcans have done a great job with is shooting from the perimeter. They've been able to take advantage of the open spacing, and they've been able to take those open three-pointers, and even the contested ones, too. They're just dropping everything as KJ's going to make that first one.
You mentioned three-pointers. Him on the afternoon, he has 3 of 5 here for Cal, so definitely doing his part, knocking down those three-point shots. And I feel like that definitely has to be a stat that someone has to keep throughout the season is the drawn fouls, because like you mentioned, KJ McClurg would be high up on the list as he knocks down both free throws.
I think we also need to keep a count meter on how many times I have seen KJ at Gold Rush. And I think now if I ask him how many points he scored and I ask for 30, who knows what will happen.
Dylan inside, pass it off to Whitaker. Hannah got all the way up there, and Whitaker able to finish even with that contact. You can see the Seton Hill bench wanting a whistle blown, but nothing called.
Yeah, Caden went down real hard there, even got a little grimace to my face. And he came from Division III basketball. He's been through it. He's a tough player, and Caden Hanna, somebody you want to watch out for on the offensive and defensive end.
Left that shot a little bit too short. And it will knock that one down. Moon pulls in the board. Now Meese going the other way. It's going to be a blocking foul called against KJ McClurg. I guess that should be the third stat that we keep, is how many fouls is KJ drawing? How many times are you seeing him in Gold Rush? And how many times he's going to end up on the floor in a game of basketball, because he's always down there, man.
That's not a bad thing at all. I mean, it just shows you how physical he is. Well, certainly, I don't think there was enough power to throw him across the floor at that such velocity. KJ's always going to be on the ground for such a good reason, because he's always putting his body in the way, and he'll put his body and his health on the line to get you the guys to win.
Tabe able to finish on that shot. 11-point game as DJ Slaughter comes back into the game once more here for Cal. Now Slaughter on the ball. Whitehead looking for an option. Now Hall inside, turnaround jumper for him. Gets it to go with the roll. Leading all scorers now with 17 on the afternoon. Vulcan fans here on the near side really getting into it as Moon underneath. Left that one too short, and Polak going to get called for the foul. So Jimmy Moon will head to the line once again.
The Vulcan fans are definitely out here in numbers today. This is a decent amount here, and happy to see it, especially with this big of an arena that we have here in the beautiful Convocation Center in amazing California, Pennsylvania.
Moon, a 76.2% shooter on the season. Able to knock down the first one. Powell going to come into the game here for Cal. Joyner going to come into the game for the Griffins. And I want to go back to KJ McClurg real quickly. Like you talked about, that just shows a lot about his game. He's always on the floor, always fighting for stuff. It reminds me a lot of former women's basketball player who graduated last year, Brianna Allen. Her and KJ had very similar play styles where they were like the heartbeat of that team, where they're always fighting for extra possessions, fighting for extra things, taking charges, doing the little things that your team needs to do to win.
Yeah, and I think that's the grit and sometimes the lessons you learn from playing. I mean, KJ came from almost 2 years at UNH, now here at California.
Polak 3, no good. And Hall comes over top to try to pull on the board. It's going to be a foul called off the ball.
Speaking of Hall, I don't know if you've noticed this, Johnny. He's been calling for that lob a lot tonight, and it's something that I'm now continuing to watch for, because when I was down there against the Mercyhurst at the home game here, I noticed very specifically there was a moment where I was not paying attention, and Jermaine threw down one of the nastiest alley-oops I have ever seen. So ever since then, I will never underestimate Jermaine Hall Jr. and his amazing athletic ability.
You got a great picture of it, though, for not paying attention. Hall knocks down the first of the 1-and-1, a foul called against Green. The Vulcans in the bonus. That was the 8th foul of the half for the Griffins. And Hall able to knock down the first one.
I mean, if you're Coach Sankum, you got to be real happy. Turnover-wise, foul-wise, it's been very clean relatively for the Vulcans, all things considered, which normally those are the two departments that they struggle in the most.
Hall knocks down both free throws. 72-59 your score. 5:49 left to play here in the second half. 19 points for Jermaine Hall. Dylan driving baseline, spinning around, trying to get an angle. Turnaround shot over Pala. Can't get it to go. Polak pulls in the board. The Vulcans are going to slow things down. Whitehead crosses the halfway line. 5:28 to go in the second half. Slaughter. Looking for an option. Slaughter driving in. Going to get smacked away, and Dylan going to come down with the steal. Good job by Slaughter to prevent the fast break opportunity from the Griffins, but Tabe driving straight away. It's going to be another foul called, another blocking foul. This one will go against Cam Polak. He's going to pick up his 4th.
Yeah, you got to be careful coming to the later half of the game here. Even though you do have a sizable lead, you still don't want to give up any ground in such a close game. And I mean, anything can happen in a basketball game, especially with the 3-point line being such a key part of an offense.
Back underway, Meese on the ball. Keaton Hanna at the scorer's table waiting to check in. Meese passes it into the post to Tabe, gets it out to Moon. Moon, pump fake, now trying to go against Jermaine in the post. Moon gets it out to Green, who pulls up for 3. Able to knock that one down, just like that. 10-point game with 4:45 to go.
That's what I said, that 3-point game. The 3-point line since its introduction back in the 70s and 80s changed basketball in such a sense where you can now go on massive runs and get massive scores just through throwing the ball out from a long distance like that.
California going to take a timeout. That'll stop the clock with 4:34 to go here in the second half of play. 10-point game, 72-62 your score. The Vulcans with the lead. And like you talked about, with the introduction of the 3-point line, is definitely something that teams can take advantage of. And you're never truly out of a game with that 3-point shot, because it's a 10-point game with 4:34 to go. But that's 10 points is what, 4 possessions down the court if you're able to knock down all 4 shots.
And if you're able to find them in the crowd there, you can see Zion Collins and Bryson Lucas. Shout out to Bryson Lucas, just recently his birthday. Shout out to Donald Whitehead Jr., also recently his birthday. We don't have any graphics prepared for them, but just thought we'd mention it really quick. And also, very quick shout out to Raja Fink, 1,000 career points in her collegiate career. Huge achievement for her, and so glad it could be here at the beautiful University of California, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, huge shout out to her. Lob thrown, and Hall able to come down with it, but couldn't get the shot to go. He finally got the lob opportunity he wanted, but maybe in a highly contested area. Now the Griffins looking to cut into this lead. Dylan gets himself into the lane, gets a little bit of space, but can't get the shot to go. Tabe pulls in the offensive board, now driving once again. Another foul called and another blocking foul called against Cal. This one will go against Hall, and Coach Sankum, he's not happy at all about it.
Yeah, and not to discourage the players or even bring any ill will, but yeah, it seems like some of these are kind of flop-like. I mean, it doesn't seem like too much strength is being put in to these physical plays, but I would not know because I am not a Division II basketball player, ladies and gentlemen.
Either way, I would not want Samuel Tabe giving me the elbow in the chest. Probably won't be able to breathe for 3 days as Moon could not knock down the three-point shot. As the Vulcans made a couple of substitutions during that break. 3:50 to go. Hall on the near side. Gets it back from Whitehead, and who finds Palick in the post now. Palick brings it back out to the three-point line. Thought about shooting it. Gets it to Jermaine in the post. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Jermaine gets it out to Palick. Deep three from Keith. Off the mark, no good. And Moon able to crowd the board there for the Griffins.
Yeah, but you're going to see a logo shot there, but no, Keith not able to let that go. And he's been having a good game so far. Keith Palick with 11 points.
Meese pulls up for 3 and sat there for what seemed like forever, but the ball could not find the back of the net. 3:10 to go in regulation time. The Vulcans up by 10, 72-62 your score. And California smartly just winding the clock down, not worried about the end of this game. Hall, quick pass inside to Palick, who's able to find Hannah. Hannah's shot no good, but a nice cut from Hannah. And he's going to go to the line to shoot too.
Yeah. Big shout out to Caden Hanna, the Division III transfer coming up to California after his great season last year, and he's already made a huge impact for this Vulcans team.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here on CUTV, CUTV Sports 1, and the PSAC Network.
Are you looking for student housing that is convenient, fits your budget, and promotes independent living? Look no further than Penn West California's upper campus student community at Vulcan Village. At Vulcan Village, you have 3 spacious floor plans to choose from, all with guaranteed private bedrooms and many with private bathrooms. Our community provides you fantastic amenities such as a 24/7 fitness center, convenience store, sand volleyball, and saltwater swimming pool. All apartments are fully furnished and have full kitchens and laundry. Utilities, internet, parking, recreation, and events all included. We provide you an all-inclusive experience that can't be beat. Schedule a tour and learn more today at vulcanvillage.com. Live here. Live well.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Convocation Center. So there's 2:52 to play here in the second half. California up by 10, 72-62 your score. While we have 1 second, we can take a look at the PSAC-WEST standings again. And like you said, this is such an important game for both teams. And if the result stands, California will leapfrog Seton Hill for that 4th place spot. Will sit 11-9 in conference play. Seton Hill will drop to 10-10. And it's huge for California down the stretch, because if you're able to get a win here, you're able to get some luck in the last couple of games. We're looking at hosting the first playoff game of the season here in the Convocation Center against either Seton Hill or Slippery Rock.
I mean, those are 2 teams that I think either way you have a big chance against. I mean, this Vulcans team has gone toe-to-toe with former #1 team in the country, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, IUP, now ranked at number 4 after their recent loss against Hearst. This is such a good team that can definitely come out of the cracks and put on some amazing performances like you saw against Edinburgh, scoring 106 points in a college game. That's very impressive for them.
It's a team getting hot down the stretch, which is the most important, as Hannah knocks down both free throws. 74-62. Green trying to find Tabe inside, and Hall able to get a hand to it. Tabe able to get the ball back. His shot no good. Hannah comes down with the rebound.
Yeah, they give me flashbacks to Edinburgh there. I thought we were going to get a bounce into our own basket again. And maybe a bit nervous, let the blood boil.
Slaughter's pass poked out of play by Tabe. And 2 substitutions going to be made by Cows. Polak and McClure going to come in. Slaughter and Hannah going to go to the bench. It's going to be KJ on the inbound here for Cal. Looking for an option. Able to get it into Polak. Under the pressure of Dylan. 17 on the shot clock, 2:17 to go. And now in the home stretch in the Convocation Center, can the Vulcans hold on? Whitehead. Pull-up jumper from him, no good. Tabe pulls in the board.
Yeah, and wisely, the Vulcans just winding that clock down, not trying to let Seton get any sort of chance on them, get any sort of clock advantages. Most of the time you'll see in football that they'll just farm clock and get open time for them. But, you know, in basketball, they're being very smart here, just not able to farm it.
2 shots don't go, and exactly what you talked about happened. I believe Cal just tipped it into their own basket again.
I'm going to poke that off as I didn't see it. So
it didn't happen.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if we all agree we didn't see it, it didn't happen, right?
I agree, as Palak gets it out to McClurg, and the Vulcans playing keep away. 1:25 to go, and it's all on the Griffins here to try to get the ball back. McClurg, long-range floater, shot won't go. Palak pulls in the offensive rebound, but throws it straight in the hands of Mies. Mies going coast to coast, passes it off to Tabe, and Tabe able to finish. 8-point game, and Whitaker, or head coach Ben Wilkins, and the Griffins will call a timeout. 1:11 left here in the second half. 8-point game, 74-66.
And it's been such a close game these past few minutes, and I can't even really attest it to one certain, or pinpoint it on one certain thing that the Vulcans are doing, because they're playing just a very solid game. Defensively, the Vulcans have been a team that were very weak to start the year, almost like dead last in the PSAC, but they've come back. They've become a very impressive defensive unit. I think that's just come with their chemistry. As Blaze is just chilling out there, man. Look at him. He's nice and comfortable.
He's comfortable. He's listening to the music, and if the result stands here with the 1:11, it'll be victory music played by a great band down there on near the court. And like you talked about, if you're Seton Hill in that timeout, what is your game plan coming out with 1:11 to play when you're down by 8?
Well, I mean, I think you have to switch up your defensive plan. I mean, that zone definitely held back Cal for a long time, but as you see, they're just holding the ball at the top of the key now. You need to put more pressure on the Vulcans, and on the offensive side of the ball, you need to force some threes, even though it may not sound as beautiful. This team is very good at shooting threes, and it's something they need to take advantage of.
Whitehead able to receive that inbound. Gets a quick foul. That's the 10th foul of the half as Dylan fouls Whitehead. So Whitehead will go to the line to shoot 2. And if we talked about anything, the Vulcans one of the best free throw shooting teams in the PSAC. And that's going to win you a lot of games, especially games like this down the stretch, if you're able to knock down these shots, as Whitehead able to make the first. Slaughter going to come into the game. Polak will head out. So 2 Vulcans on the, or not only 1 Vulcan, as Polak came out of the game on 4 fouls in the half. KJ McClurg with 4 fouls in the game here for Cal. Whitehead's second shot is good as well. 10-point lead restored as Caden Hanna will come into the game for KJ McClurg.
And you're going to want some of that size and some of that defensive skill here in these final few minutes. And especially you want to make sure that you're preserving your players in case any sort of foul trouble comes into play, which KJ has already picked up a few of his own.
Dylan, nice crossover moves. Gets it off to Moon. Dylan now pull up 3. Not what the result that the Griffins wanted, as that one no good. Whitehead pulls in the board, and the Vulcans doing a good job at just getting the ball away from the Griffins, forcing as much time off the clock as possible. Slaughter going to get fouled. That'll stop the clock with 50 seconds left. And DJ Slaughter will head to the line to shoot 2.
You know, it's such a 10-point lead now for the Vulcans. Looking at this, if you're Seton, and you're kind of seeing this game already pulled away from you. And it can't feel easy if you're on that court, and especially if this does turn out to be a loss for the Griffins. It's got to hurt, especially because now that seeding goes in the opposite direction.
Slaughter, 73% free throw shooter on the season, knocks down the first one. Shout out Manassas, Virginia, and St. John Paul, great Catholic high school.
Shout out Virginia. A lot of the guys on this team, on the Vulcans roster, are actually from Virginia. Actually, go down through here. When I made our little cheat sheet that we're using here, if I remember correctly, we had around 3 or 4 guys who came from that West Virginia territory.
And Coach Sankum definitely has a nice area where he likes to recruit, and he's found a ton of gems for this Vulcan team. Slaughter made both free throws, 12-point game. Whitaker gets it out to Mies. Mies, shimmy, working his way into the lane. Layup attempt is good. Cuts the lead down to 10, but a ton of time taken off the clock. 32 seconds to go. Palak receives the inbound pass, and a whistle is blown. Another foul going to go against the Griffins. Keith Palak will make his way back down to the other end of the court to shoot free throws.
Yeah, and it's, if you saw in that offensive push, they're trying get that open man on three, but it's like in these last few seconds, it's just not realistic. You're not always going to get that open shot. If you remember, I will harken back to this playoff run every single time because I'm a huge Raptors fan. 2019, Kawhi Leonard took that final buzzer-beating shot contested because he wasn't able to get that space, and if he wanted to win that game, he needed to take that contested shot. And sometimes, if you want a chance to win a game, you need to take a contested shot.
Powell is 78% free throw shooter on the year. Knocks down both. And you talk about how many free throws KJ McClurg attempts. Coming into this game, he shot 109 on the season. Powell shot 143 coming into this game. So the Vulcans doing their fair share of work at the charity stripe. As Meese working inside. Can't get the shot to go. McClure going to poke that rebound out of play. 18.1 on the game clock.
And Seton's still going for two here. I guess they're trying to draw fouls on the inside of the paint, but you're noticing Cal just letting them go and getting the buckets there. And if you want to win this game, you need to go for these three-point chances.
Moon pulls up for three. That one too short, and that just about does it as there's a fight for the offensive board. Dillon gets it. Pulls up for three. That three-point attempt no good. Palak able to come down with the rebound. The Vulcans get business done here in the Convocation Center. Any final words?
It's been a great game on both sides, really. I mean, that trap offense was easy, or zone offense was easily able to stop the Vulcans, and Coach Sankum and his band of merry men easily able to trap it.
The Vulcans able to get a big win over the Griffins. Your final score, 80-68. California with another big win. From everyone here at CUTV, from our director Tom Caden and Gary Smith, from my broadcast partner Nate Kurtz, my name is Jonathan Safe. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you guys next Wednesday as the Vulcans take on the Mountain Cats of University of Pitt Johnstown. You've been listening here on CUTV, CUTV Sports 1, and the PSAC Network.